Hey, stay Spira. I'm glad that you're here. Hope your day gets better. Honestly, I'm glad that you're here. I'm Captain Tommy. You're on the boat. All right, people. Monday's changing up on us, and that's how it goes, right? When you sail into the turbulent waters of addiction, searching people out, things sometimes change. And it's been a heck of a lot of fun doing the boat. Uh, this year has been an absolute ball. The all the collabs that I've done have made the boat more fun to be around. We've met a lot of cool people, and it has brought in a ton of people, and it also gives you kind of a different opportunity to see me. Because when I go on other people's shows or I interact with other people, it kind of gets you to see a side of me because I'm talking to you all the time alone, right? So it's a little bit different. Today, I'm going to be doing another collab, right? So we're going to have to change up. Yeah, you did. Nicola just saw that. So has you seen this down the rabbit holes notification? People, I will be hanging out with Rabbit tonight at the normal lifeboat time at 5 o'clock. So I'm going to go live for our normal boat 1 hour early. Is there anyone here that didn't get that? I'm going to say it again. I'll probably say it 4 more times, right? So thank you very much, my friends. I am going to be rocking the night lifeboat. Alik, Anik Alexander, good to see you, my friend. I'm going to be rocking the night lifeboat 1 hour early than I normally do. I am going to be over on Rabbit's channel. That is the Down the Rabbit Hole with Rabbit. Very, very cool, man. It's a very, very, very cool channel, and we're going to have fun. Thank you, Nick. Appreciate you. I think that Rabbit and I will be a good combo. We spoke for a little while on the phone this morning, and it was fun. And if you are a fan of Rabbits, you know what Rabbit does, right? Rabbit should be somebody we all love. Rabbit's doing her day job. Rabbit works with people in recovery, right? This is what she does. Yeah, she is awesome. She really is. I'm a fan. I'm absolutely a fan. And it was cool because when we got on the phone, she brought up something from an old lifeboat. And it was funny, like 3 sentences later, she said something that reminded me of a show that I saw. So the both of us obviously watch each other's stuff, which is super cool. You know what I mean? It's always nice when it's going to be the same time. So we usually go live on the 5s, right? And that's Pacific Standard Time, 5 Pacific Standard Time. So that is what I will be doing today, 5 o'clock Pacific Standard Time. Everybody get that? That's going to be, it's the time we normally go live here, but instead of being here, we're going to be over on Rabbit's channel. And I don't simultaneously, I see no reason to split an audience. It doesn't make any sense to me whatsoever. So we're going to pack up the boat, right? And we're going to sail on over and we're going to cruise down the rabbit hole. And if you knew just how appropriate that is for me, it's the rabbit hole, people. This is, I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. I'm not sure if I've ever mentioned that, but I'm a big Alice in Wonderland fan. So this just seems very, very appropriate to me. There was originally planned today, I was going to cram in 2 shows, right? So I was going to do a show between between the morning show and the normal night show. I had 2 I was going to pull off. There's no way I'm going to be able to get that done. But I've got 1 more I'm going to do. So I don't know how long it's going to take me and my producer to get it put together. What time is it there right now? Okay, well, here is different. I give the times based on Pacific, right? I'm giving Pacific time. I'm live on the 5s, 5 o'clock Pacific, right? Right now where I'm at is 12 o'clock. But in the Pacific time zone right now, it's 11. And I go live at 5 Pacific. And it will always stay that way. We'll catch up to them because we don't do daylight savings. So I'll catch up to them. Right now, I'm really going live on the 6s in my time zone. But we do everything on California time. Why? Because more people do drugs in California than any other place. Don't be silly. No, we do it because that's usually the time zone that I'm on. She did do a fantastic interview with Oh No Nora. That was a really good interview. Well, if you haven't seen that one, you should. Yeah, right. Tommy Bird, look at us. What's happened? We're stepping up a bit. You know, Tommy Bird wrote me a really fantastic message during I don't like daylight savings time either. Atypical Paul, I hate it. Tommy Bird wrote me a letter during a period of time when the boat was not sailing. I walked away from the lifeboat. And he sent me one of the greatest letters that was ever written. It really was. It was a great letter talking about how the boat was battered and it wasn't in great shape and there were things hanging off of it, but damn it, it was our boat. And it came at a really good time. I love Tommy Bird and his family. Good people. Tommy, love you. Big time. Anik, I'm sorry you have a bad connection. So I'm going to be there's going to be another show coming up. And it's one that's, this one's about kids, people. This one's about kids. There's a lot going on right now that we need to, that we all need to be very aware of, because there's not much that's more important than our kids. You feel me? There really is nothing that is more important than our kids. And I'm going to kind of like to take a shot at a bunch of people that aren't being particularly good to our kids. Because if you're not aware that it's going on, you can't do a damn thing about it. But if you know that it's going on and it makes you arch your back a little bit, maybe you get a little bit pissed, then that's something that maybe we should all do. I hope you're right, Eileen, because I'm putting you on the spot. Aileen says, I think that's 1 a.m. UK time. Everybody, you know what? Someone will check that. That's why I put it up there, not to put you on the spot. But I know someone's now going to check that. If it's not right, we'll get it fixed. Because I want all of our UK friends to, if you happen to be awake, to stop in. And this channel, this show that we speak of, is shows a lot of true crime stuff. She's just a really, really excellent YouTube creator. You know, all those skills that I don't have, but you guys come here anyway. You know, the ability to edit, you know, all of those kind of creative things that YouTubers actually do that I have no skill at any level. Okay. Well, she's excellent at all of those things. And I love going on shows like that with people who are just damn good at it. And we're just going to kind of do a bit of an intro kind of a thing, because I think we will probably end up working together. I think that there's quite a lot on the same page. I was catching up with the morning boat when, boom, the afternoon live popped up. Good to be here, Tommy, and everybody in the chat. Good to have you here. Well, we're hoping through the month of December that you will be able to pop from one place to another, that you're just going to be smoking in and out of chat rooms anywhere you want to go, and that this is going to happen for the entire month. If that is the case, then next Christmas, we're going to step it up a little bit more, right? This Christmas, we just wanted to make sure that we were our brother's keeper and we were looking out for everybody. Maybe next Christmas we'll even be better prepared and we'll be able to do more. Oh my goodness. Vicky's husband is currently in jail. Don't know if that's related to Vicky's OD or not. Either way, it's an extremely sad situation. Yeah. Miss Sunrise Dawn. I don't know if I know this story. And if I should, then I'm really frightened. Topic is children. So it caught a pay attention, gear, and stock. Yeah. The show, that's going to be the next show I do here. The next show I do here is going to be about kids. It's a warning. It's absolutely a warning, and it's a call to action. There is a lot. Oh, excellent, Miss Sunrise Dawn. I will check that when I leave here. Thank you. Thank you much. No, the next show that I do, Tommy Bird, is going to be about this. This has been something, this is just a personal thing with me that, and by the way, really funny stuff. You guys will get a kick out of this. I don't know if you guys got together on this. I honestly, this is where I'm at as a content creator. The third email that I read about this subject matter, I was like, is Seventh Son putting you up to this? I'm not even being funny. I thought Seventh Son or maybe Alan Valentine, but I got a whole bunch of emails in the last 30 days from women who said they're concerned about protecting themselves, right? What can you do to protect yourself? If you're not, say, able to punch somebody in the head, you know what I mean? Or you're in fear that you're going to be outmatched. It's going to be a guy of superior size or whatever. Was there any advice? And that's something that has happened before I get these kind of questions. But at least 3 of them said, because I've been told that pepper spray doesn't work and I don't want to get close enough to somebody to have to tase them. So after the third one, I was like, this seems to me to be a pepper spray thing. And since the last name is Scoville, I just thought that maybe this was my friends trying to set me up. We are going to do something where we're going to go and we're going to, one's artsy. We're praying for you. We're pulling for you. We're feeling for you. Whatever it is you do. Some pray, some just send positive vibes, whatever it is. And we're all pretty cool with whatever it is that you decide to do. But it's just our way of supporting somebody who may be having a bad day or is under the weather or anything along those lines. That's what we do with that. So we're going to test out some pepper spray. It's funny that you say that. There is a new, we're not going to get a PO box, but there is going to be an office address. It will be up this week. Okay. We are looking at things. That's something I'm doing today. We're going to look at some office space because this is getting bigger, and it's fixing to get bigger still. So we're putting into place all of the things. That's right. Rhonda gets it. One, showing some love. It's really all we're doing. So it's probably a better way to put it. Thank you, Rhonda. We'll go with that. You're showing love, however you do it. However you do it. Well, what we're going to do too is we're going to get the pepper spray that you can standard buy basically everywhere, right? You can buy this stuff anywhere where they sell it, from Walmart to anywhere else. And we're going to see exactly whether or not the people that said this stuff doesn't work. I have been pepper sprayed, people. I can't tell you how many times. Pepper spray will drop me, right? I'm not going to be able to fight after being pepper sprayed. But they seem to think that the stuff I'm describing in prison and the stuff that is sold commercially are two very different things. And that may be the case, right? The stuff that we have in prison is pretty rugged stuff. So we're going to buy some stuff that you can get over the counter, and we're going to have somebody that is going to spray me with this. And I'm going to do everything that I can to kill them for spraying me. I'm going to see if I can get at them, and maybe the bear spray I've been hit with. Bear spray is no joke. Yes, I don't know we'll be going with bear spray, since most people don't carry around the big bear spray canisters. That's I would love for you people to see me tormented that way. I'm talking about the small canisters that end up on people's keychains, because that's really what is most commercially available everywhere, where you can just walk into Walmart, you can just do whatever. I know that it is against the law in the UK and in other places. You're right. If a man can't see, he can't fight. That's a stone cold fact, right? Subi, thank you so much. You know, I don't know if I told you this. I may have told you this already, but I grew up with a friend of mine who was she was a girl at the time. She's a woman now, but I grew up with a girl named Subi, and was a incredibly gifted skier, right? She could ski with the boys. She really could. And I went to school with her. She was just a lot of fun to be around. And her boyfriend was kind of a dirtbag, and he stood her up on her graduation day. Can you imagine that? But I just happened to be, I lived in a different state, and I happened to be there at her graduation. And I was like, get in the car. We're going to go have fun. And we did. We had a really good time. But Subi is a name that just, it triggers really, really fond memories of when I was a kid. Subi and I never dated or did anything like that. We were just wicked good friends. And she's just always still has a very pleasant spot in my brain. Tommy, I was told years ago that a good pepper spray will melt styrofoam. So if you spray styrofoam into a cup, it will melt the cup. If it's not good, it will just sit at the bottom. Do you know why that is, though? Because here's the thing with that. Inside of commercial pepper spray is kerosene, and petroleum products will do real damage to styrofoam. So the stuff that is higher in that, because that's what the delivery system is, it's what the capsaicin oil hangs out in. And apparently the higher the concentration of that, the more painful it is. So you're probably right. Liz Ferris, we're glad you're here. And we're glad that when you need the boat, we happen to be up and running. I really like that. I'm a handsome dude today. Well, that is funny. Must be the glasses, right? I was having one of those days. I don't know what it is. There are days that my eyesight is better than most. You know what I mean? And then there are days that are not as good. And today was one of those days. It's really just for reading. I do great driving and things like that. But reading and up close stuff, I don't do as good at. Whenever Tommy says wicked or drops an R, I smile. Yeah, I do the Northeast thing for sure. It's when I'm being lazy. I try not to do it in interviews, but it's like reverting back to your childhood speak. You know what I mean? Where you just kind of do the sexy specs. Yeah, that's what these are. These are dollar store readers, I think is where I got these. You must be kidding.
Keep it down.
That is funny. Someone is laughing right now, right? The FedEx truck just pulled up. And not so much. Do you know what this is, people? We have more cowbell, people. People, we have more cowbell. No one even took credit for this. I can't even thank who did this. There is no one. I cannot even. Look. No, I got nothing. So, to whoever supplied the lifeboat with more cowbell, that's never going anywhere. You know, the funniest things that you acquire as a YouTuber, these are the real deal. These were no joke prison handcuffs. Like, these were used. These were on, I can't tell you how many thousands of convict wrists. And these are a gift as well. And it's a trip. The odd things that you get doing this, and I love you guys. I really do. The cowbell's awesome. Oh, the cowbell is awesome. Tommy, this is me too. This is me. Tommy Bird says, as a kid, I bounced back and forth from West Virginia to North Carolina, and those accents have me screwed up still, I believe. Okay, so here's my problem, right? I'm from New England, right? But I'm from I was from a really stuffy town in New England. So like the stuffy, the people that I grew up with sounded kind of like the mayor on The Simpsons, wanting more chowder. That guy. There was actually people that sounded like that in the place that I grew up. But I grew up with everyone in my family except me was born in New York. So I had a slightly different accent than everyone else. And then at a very formative age, I moved to South Boston, Massachusetts, and I stayed there for a summer with 3 Irish brothers in one house. And these guys were absolute madmen, but they had the most vicious South Boston accent on planet Earth. And that amalgamation. And then I moved to, I was in Texas for a while, which doesn't make for a great change of accents as well. So, it was, so I got really jumbled up in the whole accent thing. And then when I got hired as a public speaker, I did everything I could to not have an accent, to not necessarily sound like you're from a particular place. Mr. T, tell me it has not really been a year. Where did that go? It has been a year since we started doing this. DJ Daddio is one of my favorite people. Mr. T is a good man. Got a great family. Love you, my brother. I'm glad that you're here. A year. Wow. Juliana, this is actually something that is an issue that, believe it or not, is going to come up in my next. This is going to come up in my next rant, believe it or not. And I'm not being. This is absolutely the truth. I think hip hop. Now, I'm not jumping on this, but I think hip hop has caused gay men under 20 to go play recruit hoes in schools supplied with dope by traffickers, and no one talks about that. There is a lot of really funky things going on in that industry having to do with women who are underage and how unbelievably accepted, understood, and just looked the other way that is. It's really, really awful. Tammy, I think I can say that nobody thinks Vegemite goes good with anything. Southie girl. Oh my goodness. With a name like Southie girl, you're going, he doesn't have a boss. There's no accent there. That was pretty clearly, Juliana. I think that you pretty much nailed that. I understood what you were saying. And it is. It's an issue right now in a pretty big way. That community has, I'm telling you, it's just made it so that what's happening with kids in this world, but certainly in this country, has never been more disturbing in my lifetime. I'm a guy in his 50s, and I've never seen the world the way it is currently. It's really, really disturbing, and it's a trend that I sadly think is gaining traction. And if I think something is gaining traction and going in the wrong direction, I'm blaming the music industry, Rhonda. I'm blaming the entire music industry. This is an industry that looked the other way on artists that were doing unbelievable things to underage boys and girls. And it's not even really a secret at this point. It's kind of one of those open things that people talk about all of the time. And it's starting to unravel. We're seeing cases, and we saw R. Kelly go away, right? We're seeing people that are getting convicted for this stuff, but it happens damn often. Yeah, look at Diddy. I mean, Diddy is a prime example, but it's one prime example of a bunch of different ones. Oh, I'm sorry, but you know something? This is really worth. Chrissy Newton. I love my accent. It is wicked cold here in southern New Hampshire. Windy, rainy, raw. Yeah, I am a fan of your accent. New Hampshire has a very distinctive accent. I had growing up where I grew up, I knew a lot of people from New Hampshire, and the accent is distinctive. It really is. They have a little bit more Massachusetts than Maine or Vermont. They get that Massachusetts kind of sound. My main profession, no, I didn't work in a print shop. I don't remember working in a print shop in my life at any time. But I grew up as a skier, and that's what I did until I became a public speaker. And then that led to meeting a bunch of people that were that industry is tied very closely to network marketing, to reverse shell mergers in the stock game. So boiler rooms of any kind. If you can put people in a room and start making phone calls to make money, then that tends to get cranked out. You follow me? It tends to. So I was a public speaker, and then we set up boiler rooms. I did some scam infomercial stuff that is still out there. I did. If there was a way that I could. If there was a way I could extract money from people through sales, that's probably what I was doing, right? I mean, that was pretty much the shtick. And then the president of a publicly traded company. Look, I'll be really honest, people. I mean, I don't want you to think about me strolling into a company in New York. We were doing reverse shell mergers, and I took a run at one of the companies, which was absolutely amazing, and I had a really unique time through that. And someday I'll tell the whole story of that, but it's going to require hours to do that story. But my main occupation I was a public speaker. That's what I did. Rip Curl says, the violence and the depravity in our youth is just crazy. I think it's a combination of a lack of parenting combined with environmental and influences and government acceptance and enabling. I don't know what I could add to that. I don't know what I could add to that. The environment is tough, and this thing right here is about it is the greatest thing that ever happened to humanity, and it is the worst thing that ever happened to humanity. I mean, it really is. The ability we're talking to people who are having a bad day in another country, and we're doing what we can to try to help them feel better. Right? That's pretty friggin' cool. And there are people from all over the world who are trying to stay sober, right? And 4 or 5 nights of being high reminded me why I hate the drug. I've managed to put down the pipe, down so far, but it does start all over again. I don't believe that it does. Okay. This is a big thing for people in sobriety. And the people that seem to really feel like you're starting all over again seem to me to be the people that, for whatever reason, want to keep score. And they would just like to maybe have a little bit more sobriety days than you. If you start trying to get sober and you spend 2.5, 3 years, doing everything right, and you stumble for 2 days and you snap out of it and you go, what the hell am I doing? So you've been working on your sobriety for what now, a day? No, you had 3 or 4 years of sobriety and then you stumbled. So I don't view that crap the same way. I don't view stumbles the same way. If you're still moving forward and you're still trying to get your life in order, don't beat yourself up, because kicking your own ass for this, if you learn from this, Andrew, if this is a great relapse, I hope you spent a lot of time writing about it. I hope you journaled the crap out of this, because it can be a great relapse. Good relapses you learn from. Great relapses are the last relapses. That's the one where you go, oh, I know exactly what's up, right? That's when you get that, I can't do this. I can't do it for one hit. I can't do it, right? You come to that epic, that's it, dude. I can win this fight by not getting into the fight. I am superior to heroin as long as I never do that first one. I have its ass kicked. I'm sorry. A drug that absolutely destroys almost every single person it touches, I beat it because I'm not going to fight it. If I get into a fight, if I actually get in the ring, I will die with a needle in my arm. That's it. It's plain and simple, right? Am I banned from doing business or banking with the banks that I robbed? I am not, oddly enough. I was not, however, allowed to go into them when I was still on paper, right? So while I was still, like when I was at the halfway house and things like that, it was not an option. But I no longer, I owe nothing. I'm not I am no longer on paper. So the federal government does not babysit me and has not in a long time. I can travel at will. I can go across state lines. I can do whatever I want to do without permission. It used to be that if I cruised across a state line, I had to have permission to cruise across said state line, right? I love that quote. And I remember who said it. And if you let me think for a second, I will remember who it is. You know what, Jeremy Shelton? The Bee Gees should be forced to answer for their musical crimes. You know, I'm going to take the unpopular stance. And I know what's coming, man. I know what's going to come. I know what's coming. I'm a Bee Gees fan. Do what you do. I'm a Bee Gees fan. Kristen, I did a bunch of MLMs and I'm sorry. I really am. If it makes you feel better, and this is the truth, when I got into the first one, I didn't even know what they were. Like I just got in and thought this is a really cool way to make money. I knew nothing about it, but I proceeded to get in and out of that industry 2 or 3 times. We made money in it. It's a terrible industry. It really is. It's a terrible, terrible industry, and it just rips people off and it creates a whole other addiction. But I will also tell you this: I was addicted to it. I really was. I was addicted to that crap. It's no different for the poor people at the top. I mean, it seems like they make a ton of money, but I promise you, no matter how much they make, it's very rare that any of them seem to be able to keep it. I knew a lot of MLM people that made a ton of money and they all ended up broke. I forgot about substances, which removes all inhibitions, morals, and ethics, right? I mean, holy hell. That's me. You're a checks out. Thank you, Seventh. I have a feeling I know where that's coming from. The high notes with the Bee Gees and the hair and the tight pants. See, Ask Jay gets it. No, it's not really why I took the Bee Gees, but I thought that would have sounded pretty funny. How Deep Is Your Love is a nice song, but the truth is they didn't do a bad one. They did not do a bad one, in my humble opinion. Well, that's a very nice thing to say. That is such a cool thing to say. It's exactly that positive attitude that you put forward that keeps me coming back here. I absolutely love it. No shame, no judgment, just support. It's really the best. I mean, you can kick the crap out of yourself for a relapse. I've watched people do it. I know people that have it to a science. I'm not picking on anybody in particular, but I know 2 people in particular that I work with on the boat on a daily basis who kick the hell out of each other. I mean, out of themselves every single time they relapse. And I mean, they beat themselves so bad that a week and a half later, we're still talking about it. I mean, the idea is figure out what made you drink. And that's why we journal, right? You go back 3 days. You're going to find, I promise you, you didn't go, I'm going to hit the pipe, right? I'm going to shoot that dope. It doesn't start like that. It's a process, right? It starts originally, right? You're going to start through it's a 3-phase deal. And first it's going to be an emotional thing, right? And then you start to fantasize. First, you get bummed out. You get in your feelings, right? And then you start to fantasize and you start thinking about the good days. You don't think about being dope sick. You think about the day that something bad was, you were like, oh man, you do a shot and you just forget everything. Nothing bothers you. And you start to romanticize it. And then you get those, you remember that time we went to that concert and we all got that stuff that was, and you're talking about only the good stuff, right? And all of these things tend to happen, right? It really does start to happen. And then the next thing you know, right, we're taking physical action, right? That's the third step. That's where we start to, to put ourselves into positions where there's a good chance dope's going to be there. I'm not saying that originally you just drive down to, wherever your block is, 4th Street or whatever, right, and go pick up your dope. It might be just, well, I want to stop by and see a friend I haven't seen in about 6 weeks. Who I just happen to know is a guy that's probably sitting on his couch, nodding the hell out. Now, I wouldn't say that to myself because I'm a professional drug addict, and I will say something to myself like, what kind of a jerk are you? The dude was your best friend. Now you're highfalutin and you don't do drugs, so you can't even say hi to him. You're kind of a dirtbag, aren't you, Tommy? Holy crap. And I'll talk myself into driving over there. I've told the story. I won't do dope the first time. I'll go over there like, I am superior. I can be around that stuff. Look at me. No, you go ahead. You do dope. I don't do that stuff anymore. Then the next time I come by, I'll throw him a $20. I got a pocket full of money. I don't even know what to do with the stuff. I don't spend it on drugs. Right? The hell am I going to do with money in the first place? So I hand him $20, $30 and he buys himself a couple of bags. You sure you don't want to taste of this? No, I'm good, dude. I don't do that stuff. Right? I'm clean. Then the next one or the one after, then boom, you're done. And once that first one, but the skin gets broken, someone would have to handcuff me to something, or there's no chance in hell that I don't do the next one. There's no chance in hell. You would have to handcuff me. I'm not playing. But I know if I don't take that first one, we ain't going to need those handcuffs. Spot on, Captain. I was so down and out, sad, depressed, somewhat age rock bottom mentally, and just wanted to feel good, which leads to buying a bag of meth. Absolutely. It's the same thing. And meth does it probably more effectively. Well, all BS aside. For me, what that did was it killed the pain that I had inside. What this does is it gives you so much damn dopamine that there's nothing in your body that could be going on that you're not just, happy and, ready to go. I mean, speed is that you're not getting as much. That's the most dopamine you're ever going to get. It's for real. I mean, speed releases dopamine on a level that no other drug does. It's just absolutely vicious. Oh, wow. How cool is that? I'm sorry. My mom has a vinyl collection. She has 700 albums from the 60s and 70s. The record covers and sleeves are art in themselves. I would sit there and go through that collection. I will look through records. Honest to God, I could do that for years, man. I love looking through records. It's like that and junkyards of old cars. I don't know what about both of them, but I love looking at really old. Like if it's a great junkyard and they've got cool cars, I love it. Yes, I don't have a drug problem, but I have an anxiety problem, and journaling helps me find my triggers. Anyone else? Let me tell you something, people. I don't care what your problem is. I promise you, I don't care what your problem is. The solution to it is going to be the same every time. If you are not putting pen to paper every single day, whatever your potential is, whatever you're shooting for, cut it in half. Not being a jerk. It's just the way it is. If you're not writing down things every day, if you're not getting your thoughts onto paper every day for your paper, right? You write it down. This is you putting down your goals, what you plan to do. What do you want? Why do you want it? What are you willing to do to get it? Really simple stuff, right? But if you're not doing it, I promise you, you're not going to get to where you want to get to in life. Done. There's nobody successful that doesn't do it, except for Bee Gees album covers. Ben Turner got it. He's right. Except for Bee Gees album covers. I'm not a big Bee Gees album covers guy because it's usually just a lot of blonde hair, a lot of blonde beard, and a good dose of satin. And I can do without it. However, once you put that wax on the turntable, forget about it. It's gold. It's gold. They joked about it in Wayne's World. He says to him, look, we're not for everybody. It's not that kind of show. Led Zeppelin didn't make music everybody loved. They let the Bee Gees do that. So you can lie all you want, but the Bee Gees comes on and you're in your car, like looking around, making sure no one's at the light. I know your eyes in the morning sun. You ain't fooling any of us, man. You're singing along. You're singing along. Lie to me. Alan Ballantyne. Everyone off to work, but just dropped in to say hi. Much love. Alan, we're on. Very cool, Drew. Glad that you're here, man. Mary Jones, I love you, hon, and I feel for you. I struggle so hard to put comments like that up because it feels like a violation of your privacy, even if you wrote it. But that's heavy, and there are so many people here who are dealing with the same thing. Here's what I'm here to promise you, people: if you're dealing with trauma that was caused from your childhood, and it was caused through an assault of a sexual nature, right? Things like that. People, I'm not a guy that can run a group on this. You understand? If you understand how group works, I'm not the guy you want running that group. In fact, you probably don't want a guy running that group. But if you do, it's probably a guy that's been there and done that, has been through it, because then when they understand exactly what everybody is talking about, it's like me with drugs, you understand? But I promise you this, that the goal for this eventually is that I don't care what your trauma is, there's going to be a peer support part of this for everybody. And we're getting all of this stuff put into place. I promise you. I just bought Husband Beatles' White Album for the second time. If you only bought the White Album for the second time, you have no idea how fortunate you are. I have bought the White Album on vinyl. I bought it on 8-track. I think I bought it on cassette and then on DVD. And then I bought it in their box set and then their anniversary set. I can't tell you how many times I bought the White Album, and I'll probably buy it again. That's one of those albums, though. Speaking of great album art, you want to mock my Bee Gees? How about the Beatles? I mean, that was a pretty big band. Were you fond of the White Album? Pretty damn fancy. It was just kind of white. You know what, SJ? You need to move to Arizona. I think SJ agrees with so much. We really are on the same page. See, she doesn't mock the Beatles. I mean, the Bee Gees. Nobody mocks the Beatles. We are going to put into place wasp spray. As sad as this is, that's a reality. And he's not being funny. Okay. There is a method that guys do where, hold on one second. They take this copper kind of a mesh screen, almost the kind that you would see like on a old school screen door, like they had back when you were kids. Like you never see the crap anymore. You would buy this screen at a hardware store and you would like nail it up to a wooden frame. You follow? And they take this stuff and they hook electricity to it, and they from a car battery, and they run a positive negative to this, and they run certain electrical current through this thing, and then they spray a particular brand of wasp spray all over this metal mesh. It will, because of the electricity or for whatever reason, cause a reaction, and this stuff will crystallize. And it looks just like meth you bought. It looks like shards. And people make dope this way, and it will get you high just like meth does. It has a very short shelf life. Like this stuff ends up melting back into goop. So the guys that sell it, a dead giveaway is if they're selling really, really small amounts of this stuff. Nobody's making 3 ounces, 4 ounces of it unless they can sell it all at once, because it doesn't have it. I mean, there's literally no shelf life. But believe it or not, they are absolutely pushing this crap. People are selling stuff like that on the street. But if you saw the real method of what guys did with that crap, you wouldn't be very happy. Russian person with 5 kids in Sea Org. Yeah. I don't know who that is. But if there's somebody in here who has 5 kids in Russia in the Sea Org, yeah, Aftermath would probably be a pretty good group to reach out to. Boy, you know what? I've been to Russia. I'd go just take them. I mean, that's that country's the Wild West when I was there. I'll tell you what. It was really, really wild. Do you know what I found out, people? You're going to be blown away by this. Do you have any idea how close I live to a Scientology org in Tucson? There is a Scientology org in Tucson, and it is about 15 minutes from my house. No joke. And I know what you're thinking. I know what you're thinking. You're thinking, Tommy, you know how funny it would be if you went there? Oh, I know. But I don't think I want to stand out in front and yell at him. I dig that guy's stuff. I really do. I just don't think it's my shtick. But I think going in there might be fun. I think I'd like to go in there and talk to them. Maybe take their test. And then about half, 3/4 of the way through, say to them, so what's the deal with this Xenu character? You know what I mean? I got internet access. What's the deal with this dude Xenu? And what's the deal with all that SPTV stuff on YouTube? Maybe we'll save somebody. Maybe they'll go home and start looking at it. But I'm thinking nobody's ever there. Oh, Ben, that takes all the fun out of it. Yeah, there is an org. It's I think it's on Campbell. I'm pretty sure it's on Campbell was what I looked up. If I didn't read Campbell, I read Country Club. But either way, it's in the same area. You know what I mean? It's in the Catalina foothills. It's up in the Catalina foothills. It's up here. It's up here. It's not like down in the city. Debbie, right? I'm telling you, people, I would really like to get in there. I think that would really, really be fun. I thought that there could be a lot of grins in that, you know? Yeah. But we will see. But take the Davy doll with me. Are you aware of the fact that the gentleman that you're working for is now in my briefcase? Hold on, let me get him out of there. I find it amazing that in this day and age, do you know what kind of discipline it would take to never Google your own religion? Can you imagine the amount of effort it would take to not Google your own religion? Holy hell, that's brainwashing. You know what I mean? I mean, if somebody tells me what they believe in, I go, and I start the deep dive, right? If you were walking into an org, if you were doing all this and you walked out and they were like, well, we're Scientology. Check out the books. You're going to love this. You're going to go home and go, well, that was kind of cool. Let's look up Scientology. How are they going to get anybody in this? For real. What kid is going to just go, I won't Google it either? The fact that you said don't Google this cult that I just walked into doesn't make me nervous. What is happening right now is making a difference, people. You get that, right? This makes a difference. It's the Catalina effing wine mixer. Oh, I'm sorry. That is so funny, dude. I've seen him do it. Question: have you ever considered trying to cross-marketing yourself and become a guest on those prison channels, such as Big Herc, etc.? I don't know of that particular channel. I'll be really honest with you. Like, I do some prison stuff here because I know that people dig it. And I will go on other channels and talk about prison all day because those other channels find out who Tommy is, and then they come over, and if they have any interest at all in getting help or anything, or they see what we're doing, then they stick around. So it's advertising, right? Kind of. But man, I fought really hard to get out of that place. And I know that there are a lot of people who make a living talking about it. You know, I'm really happy to be out of that place. And I mean, I'll talk about it, but I would not want to, I guess. The other thing is you end up, it's a stranger audience. And I don't mean you, right? You're here, but the prison channel audiences tend to be, they're pretty testosterone filled. You got a lot of guys that, a lot of bald guys, right? And a lot of them that took the mentality of the joint to the street. And I've been really open. Like, I've come on channels and said that I got sober because a black dude in prison helped me get sober. I promise you, I ain't probably pretty popular with the white guys that still dig the prison concept, because what I did is considered like the ultimate sin. Andrew, the heat seeker Boyle, question. Yeah, for real. Like, as crazy as it sounds, from the guys inside, the fact that I'm out here saying that it was a black guy that got me sober ain't going to make me popular. So, but I would look into, I mean, if it would help the boat, I'll go basically anywhere. It would not take much effort because they would have to admit it in their next auditing session. And that would lead to extensive sec checks, which would cost them a ton of money. It's insane, isn't it, people? Honest to God in heaven, it is insane. Question. Yeah, there you go. Yes, I did. We got something put together for you. We absolutely did. I got something put together for you. Remember the Scare Straight program. The Atypical Paul, this is really funny because I've tried to research this, okay? Atypical Paul asks, do I remember the Scared Straight programs? Do they still do those, and are those effective? Yes, they still do those. And there is a lot of research in both directions. One said that it didn't do a damn thing at all. There's a lot of research to back that up. Now, there are people, just like anything else, there are individuals who will tell you that they came through and that guy scared them straight. But the vast majority of people, it does not do a thing to. Sadly, it really does not. Esperanza, he taught me concepts that I had no idea were real. He taught me that I wasn't a loser. He taught me that I wasn't defective. And he taught me that I wasn't stupid, right? This was not a character defect that made me a drug addict. I had a disease, and this really was a disease. And he showed me how that, yeah, they can actually prove this. This is now verifiable. It's not a debate anymore, right? And that was the start of it. All of a sudden, I was like, if this is something that I was born with, well, then maybe I'm not a loser, right? Maybe I'm not an evil person. You do the things that drugs make you do, and you find yourself sitting in a prison, maybe second or third time around, sitting on a bunk, just going, you know what? I'm exactly what they say I am. I'm a piece of crap and I'm a convict, and that's what I am, and that's what I'm going to be, and that sinks in. And then I met a guy that was like, you ain't got to be that. He's like, I do. I can't get out of here, but you can, and you're going to come back because you're stupid. He said, you're either the dumbest smart person I've ever met or the smartest dumb person I've ever met. That's what he said to me. And then we started talking, and he gave me a lot of books to read. And we went through a lot of things. And I started journaling. I started yoga. I started all of these things that you would not have been able to get me to do for anything. But he said, I will guarantee you follow my instructions and you will never do drugs again. And I said, at what cost? And he said, man, someday you'll get to pay it forward. That's all I want you to do is I want you to pay it forward. And then when I was getting ready to leave, we had a conversation about the whole paying it forward thing. And I'll be really honest, people, if Q didn't do what Q did the way he did, I wouldn't be sitting here doing this, right? I'm sitting here and doing this because the guy that would be better at this, unfortunately, at this moment, can't do it. Once we get him out, we'll see if he would like to sit here. But in the meantime, I'm going to keep his seat warm. He worked with me every day for a year and a half. Right, we went to the library. We read books. He gave me lists of things that I had to read, and he walked me through a program that was pretty simple. And I've done a bunch of shows on it. It's pretty simple steps, and I've gone through a bunch of them. But that's where it worked for me. Aha. For my information, daylight savings time ended back in November until next spring. Arizona is now the same time as the rest of Mountain Time and 1 hour ahead of Pacific Time. I'm sorry. So this is where we will be staying, is what you're telling me? Well, that sucks. I really like being on Pacific Time. It makes things make a lot more sense. I bought my glasses that I'm pretty sure, I'm not being funny, I'm pretty sure I got these at the dollar store. If I didn't, I got it at some place like it. I buy really, really cheap glasses because I break them all the time. They're readers. I think they're like 1.5 readers. So I buy these and they snap like popcorn. I've had these a long time. I think they may have been a dollar store. If not, it was someplace very cheap like that. Or Walgreens. I buy a lot there too. It was probably one or the other. So yeah, that's what I'm doing here. I'm paying it forward. And I'll be honest, I was paying it forward in the beginning. Now this is really something that is taken some root, and it is very, very obvious that the connection concept is something that is really it resonates with a lot of people. We realized that as we stopped connecting with one another, things really, really went bad. Zelda, it's a great question. He has heard the boat. He has heard the boat. He heard the boat last New Year's. He's heard several of them. He's heard several of them. And his mom is on here so often you can't imagine. She's one of the one of the biggest referees that we have on the lifeboat. She doesn't do a lot of commenting, but she doesn't miss it either. She's a really fantastic woman. And she would also, for the record, be the first to tell you that she probably didn't hit it out of the park when he was a young man, but she turned her life around as well. And now is a fantastic woman, a great human being, and a real rock in his life. She wasn't always that person. And I called her a great mom once, and she lost her mind and sent me a really chastising email and said, the next time you call me a good mom, you better tell everybody the mom I started out as. So there you go, Ma. How's that? Yes, it is, Ann Hummingbird. It is live, and I'm hoping you're feeling better. I know that you're home, and I hope that you're feeling better. That's hard. That's really, really hard. This is a great question, right? This is really a great question, people. And this is good. This dovetails in somewhat. Question: I have an identical twin with addiction issues, and like you, now work to help others. I have never felt the urgent to abuse any alcohol or drugs. We were genetically the same. Why am I okay? Well, there are a couple of theories on this. One would be that something somewhere along the way, and it could have been there. I'm not even joking you. This is how this was explained to me by some very intelligent cats. But it could be 30 seconds without, air at the perfect time, and one child is different than the other. I mean, for real, it can get down to the smallest and stupidest things where one child gets that genetic component and the other does not. It also, according to science, could be instead of nature, it could be nurture. Something in your brother's life was slightly different. Maybe a moment of intimacy when you weren't there and he was with someone, but there's something that got his number. I have 3 siblings, right? None of them have ever been in trouble. Like they're not going to prison. They're not robbing banks. They're not doing heroin. I was the only person in my family who has ever gotten in trouble. Q was a guy that I met in prison who helped me get sober. I've done some shows on him. He's the reason that I do this. For real. He's the reason that I do this. And he has life in prison. He's got he has a life sentence without the possibility of parole. However, I don't necessarily mean that doesn't necessarily mean that he's going to spend the rest of his life in prison, right? If we can get this lifeboat big enough, right? If we can get this lifeboat big enough, then we're going to use it to get his ass out of prison because he doesn't deserve to be there anymore. And it may sound really pipe dreamy, right? But it sounds a lot less pipe dreamy today than it did when I was telling him that in a cell, right? So we're just going to keep doing this, and eventually we're going to get him out. And you guys are going to love him because he is one of the most unbelievable people. You've never met anybody that cares more about people he doesn't know. And I don't know too many people like that, right? Good for you. Gave up meth by myself with no 12 steps. Good for you, man. 7th, please take care of yourself, and I hope that your health is good. I know 7th stopped by the doc yesterday. I had a doctor's appointment, so I hope you're doing all right, my friend. We have some free Q shirts that are in the process, so I will let you know when those are in the store as well. Somebody, I can't believe we never did it, but somebody sent me an idea, and we're getting it put together right now. You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right, Nico. Absolutely right. It doesn't matter. There are many methods. Not everything will work for everyone. You're right. And that's why you got to keep trying. If I tell people all the time, man, if the boat ain't yours, that doesn't mean you're not. That doesn't mean peer support's not for you. It means you think I'm an ass. Go find somebody that you like and find some peer support, because peer support is key, right? It's this and everything else, right? This is really, as far as I'm concerned, peer support is one of the absolute major components that makes the entire plan, right? Yeah, I've said so many times, it's kind of a holistic approach. You got to be eating right. You got to be working out. There's things that you got to be doing, right? You thought I was talking about Twitter Q. No, I was talking about a guy. His name is a challenge. And the first time I met him, I was like, and I'm looking at it because we all have our names on our shirts. And he looked at me and he goes, Q, just go with Q. I was like, all right. And he's been Q. Esperanza, you're so funny. Esperanza says, come on, who doesn't like you? Oh, we don't have enough time left. You'd be really surprised. There's something about, see? Atypical Paul said, when I first started watching, there's a lot of people that don't like me when they first started watching me. I'm an ex-convict. There are a lot of people that really struggle with that. There's a lot of people who feel like, you know what? You went out, you broke the law, you were a piece of crap, and now you're going to get rich telling people about it, right? You suck. I understand their point. I probably, especially when I was doing drugs, people who got clean and then went around and talked about it, I hated those people. I really did. I hated those people, man. So I get it. But I never wanted to, tell one of them I hated them. I never wanted to write them a letter or anything like that. But we grew up in different times. If Happy Days sucks, I never tried to reach out to Fonzie and tell him I thought he did a bad job. What makes a letter to inmate be considered contraband? If that letter has been sprayed with anything, if you sprayed it with perfume now, they call that contraband because they'll spray it with drugs that you can smoke, right? So anything that they feel like you've put onto a letter, if you let your kids started watching it. Hey, typical Paul, I was being a wise guy, but I knew what you meant. I knew what you meant, dude. I was messing with you. If you put glitter on it or your kid decorated the letter in any way, right? It has to be a regular piece of paper. It can never have come in contact with any other fluid. If there is a picture that is in there, the picture can't be a Polaroid. It has to be a regular picture. It can't show any nudity. And by nudity, just keeping it real, they mean nipple. Like you can show everything else. And down below, you just have to cover. It's obscene how much you can show and have it not be called nudity. But if you're showing any of the parts, they won't let that through as well. But that's usually it as far as what can get mail hit as contraband. You can't send cards, right? You can't go buy a card at a store and send it in. No card stock, has to just be regular paper, at least in the feds. That's across the board. Across the board. Tori Chrisman? Really? I did not see that. Where are we at? Tori, welcome to the boat. It's an honor. I did not see Tori come in. It is an honor. Great to have you. People, that does run us right up against our hard break. I have got to get 2 shows up before the end of the day. And Johnny Scoville and I got to go look at an office. We're going to have an address that we can give you guys here. We're going to get this knocked out this week. It's Monday, so we got to have that done by the end of the week. We're hoping maybe. It is a lovely honor, Martha. I agree with you. There you are. Oh, no, Tori, it's an honor. It's an honor to have you here. It really is. Thank you. Wow. Very cool. Very cool. A survivor, everybody. Huh? How cool is that? Atypical Paul, please be safe. Tori, thank you so much. I really appreciate you. I wish I had known that earlier. But thank you so much for stopping by the boat. I hope to see you again. It is an honor, to be sure. Very, very cool. Yeah. That's funny. Yes, Squirrel does accept gifts as long as those gifts come sealed. We worry about her. Pleasure to have you. Yeah, as long as they need to be sealed, right? Anybody that sends anything to Squirrel's the most important thing in my life, right? So they have to be sealed. They got to be things like that because I'm just super protective of a pussycat. Alrighty, everybody. Speaking of which, she's laying in the sun, which at this time of the day is on the truthfully an OG, right? Truthfully an OG and a survivor, which is absolutely amazing stuff. Yeah, Squirrel's laying in the sun. She has just been awful. Absolutely awful. It's kind of a bummer, but she'll be here for the next show, I promise. Andrew, I'm proud of you, my man. I'm sure everyone else is, right? You came here, you said, hey, I slipped and fell. None of us needed to know you slipped and fell, right? You're in freaking New Zealand. You didn't need to come here and cop to it. You could have come on here and said, still sober. No one's looking at you. That's what fakes do in the real world. The fact that you came here and did what you did says a whole lot about where you are. I wouldn't start recounting. You look like a guy trying to get sober to me. It's up to you, though, brother. That's on you. But I'll tell you what, you know where you're getting off the rails. Go back, read that journal. If you're not journaling, that's why you're off the rails, right? You got this. Yep, in for 30 years and escaped out in 2000. How cool is that, people? And that's no joke, right? That is an escape. And then a rebooting of your entire life. Tori, honestly, the people that make it out to me are heroic. I have been blessed through this entire process to meet people that changed my life. And I correspond with them. And it's great. It really is. I'm honored to have you here. People, we will be up and running again. It's going to be some kid stuff if that's going to trigger you, because some of the stuff I'm going to be talking about is a bummer. If it's going to trigger you, please do not come. You can catch the next one. I don't want to trigger anybody. There is going to be talk of kids and abuse. There's no way we can do this show without talking about it. Stay Spirit. I hope that you're feeling better, hun. I really do. I hope that the love got to Germany, huh? And I will see all of you on the next lifeboat. I'm Captain Tommy Scoville, and we'll see you on the next one. God bless.